Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the mental shortcuts that help you get through the day and, more importantly, the totally predictable ways they fool you every single time.
So, this is the second explainer in our big dive into Daniel Kahneman's incredible book, Thinking, Fast and Slow. If you remember from last time, we met the two main characters in our head, the fast gut reaction system 1 and the slow logical system 2. Well, today, we're putting system 1 right under the microscope.
Because that's exactly what we're about to do. I want you to think of this as a kind of mental magic show. I'm going to show you 3 powerful tricks that your own mind is playing on you, probably without you even noticing.
Okay, so how does our brain make thousands of decisions a day without just crashing? Well, it uses these amazing mental shortcuts. Psychologists call them heuristics. And honestly, most of the time, they are brilliant. They let us function without having to deeply analyze every single little thing. But, and this is a huge but, there's a catch. These shortcuts have a dark side. They lead to predictable, systematic mistakes in how we think. These are what Kahneman famously called cognitive biases. And his life's work was basically to map out exactly where our thinking goes off the rails. So, let's see him in action.
All right, our first trick is one of the most powerful and kind of invisible forces in all of decision-making. It's called the anchoring effect.
Okay, look at this. Imagine 2 identical jobs, 2 equally qualified people. The only thing that's different is the first number thrown on the table. In scenario A, the opening offer is 80 grand. In scenario B, it's 120. Just take a second. Which person do you think walks away with more money? Yeah, it's almost always going to be scenario B. But why?
The secret here is something called anchoring. That first number you hear, it doesn't matter if it's high, low, or even totally random, it acts like a mental anchor. Your brain grabs onto it, and then every single discussion, every counteroffer gets unconsciously pulled in that direction.
And trust me, this isn't some weird lab experiment. This is everywhere. The asking price of a house, that's an anchor. A lawyer demanding a certain sentence in court, anchor. Even that original price you see on a sales tag, that's just an anchor to make the sales price look like an amazing deal. It's a game, and it's being played all around us.
Okay, on to trick number 2. This one is all about how our minds calculate risk, and it shows just how easily we can be swayed by a good story.
All right, quick gut check question for you. What feels more dangerous? Flying in a plane 30,000 feet in the air or driving your car to work? Come on, be honest. For almost everyone, flying just feels way, way riskier.
And the reason for that feeling is the availability heuristic. See, your brain doesn't like to do a lot of hard work. It's not going to go look up safety statistics. Instead, it asks a much simpler question. How easily can I remember an example of this? And we can all picture dramatic, fiery plane crashes we've seen on the news. They stick with us. But car accidents? They happen all the time, so they're just not as memorable. But here's the reality check. Statistically speaking, the drive to the airport is infinitely more dangerous than the flight itself. And that right there, that's the aha moment. It's where your intuition, which is shaped by what's easily available in your memory, completely clashes with the cold, hard data.
Now for our final, and maybe most famous demonstration. This is a little logic puzzle that has tripped up millions of people. It's known as the Linda problem.
So I want you to meet Linda. Read this quick description of her. Single, very smart, passionate about social justice, was a philosophy major. Try to get a real picture of her in your head. You got it? Good.
Okay, so here's the big question. Based on the description you just read, which of these 2 statements is more probable? Go with your gut here. Is it A, that Linda is a bank teller, or B, that Linda is a bank teller and is active in the feminist movement?
Okay, have you got your answer? I'm willing to bet that the vast majority of you chose B. It fits the story, right? It feels correct. Well, here's the wild part. It's also logically and statistically impossible for B to be more likely than A. So why is it impossible? Well, when you see it laid out, it's actually really simple. Just think of it like this. The group of all bank tellers is a big circle. The group of feminist bank tellers has to be a smaller circle inside that big one, right? A person can't be more likely to be in the small specific group than they are to be in the big group that contains it. That's just a basic rule of probability. And this is a perfect demonstration of our final shortcut, representativeness. Your brain didn't do the math. It took the hard probability question and swapped it for a much easier one. Which statement is a better story? Which one looks more like the Linda I pictured? And of course, statement B creates a richer, more representative story, so our fast-thinking system 1 falls for it every time.
So, anchoring, availability, and representativeness. They're fascinating, right? But it's so important to understand that these aren't just fun brain teasers for a psychology class.
These little mental glitches aren't bugs in our mental software. You got to think of them as features. They are baked into the very process of how we make judgments about everything and everyone around us. I mean, think about the consequences. A doctor might get anchored to an initial diagnosis and miss new evidence. An investor might pour money into a stock just because of a few exciting, easily available news stories. We might vote for a political candidate who just looks like a leader who's representative of our stereotype while totally ignoring their actual policies. The stakes here are incredibly high.
Now look, the key takeaway from all of Kahneman's work isn't that you should suddenly stop trusting your gut. Your intuition is an amazing tool. The real goal here is just awareness. It's about learning to recognize those specific moments where your intuition is likely to lead you astray, so you can just slow down, engage that logical system 2, and double-check your work.
So I'll leave you with a final question to think about. As you go about your week, start noticing the quick judgments you make about people, about risks, about choices, and just ask yourself, which of my beliefs might just be a brilliant, convincing, and totally flawed shortcut in disguise?